Hello and welcome to the channel. We'll talk about all things Weiss Schwarz and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today I want to talk about some ideas for a brand new green Climax trigger. Now, if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you enjoy what we do here, please let me know by hitting that like button. As well as that, check out my other social medias on Twitch, on Twitter and on Discord. Links are down in the description below. But let's jump straight in. So today I want to talk about an idea for a brand new Climax trigger. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is that it has been about 3.5 years since we got the Choice trigger, which was the latest trigger to enter the game. Before that, we got Standby, which again was 3 years before Choice. Before that was Gold Bar, which was 3 years before Standby. And then we had Pants before that, which was 3 years before Standby. So 3 to 4 years seems to be a relatively frequent timescale for a new Climax trigger. And another thing that triggered this thought process was seeing a brand new reveal for the Sunshine in the Mirror Love Life set that's coming out very soon. And it showed a green Climax with just a soul trigger icon and nothing else. Now, this could just be a template showing us what it's going to look like, but it does open the opportunity for a brand new Climax trigger, given that Love Life has close relations with Bushiroad. So first, what do I think this trigger could be called, and what could it look like? So I've got 4 names that came to my mind with the idea, gold bag or pool, treasure gold bar, very monetary things. So the first thing I thought of was safe. It could be secure, as in like trying to secure money, securing loans. Could be lock, because green tends to do with clock and things like that, so locking things down. And it could also be called trade, and you'll see where I come with trade with one of the effect ideas that I have. And now, whilst I'm no artist or anything like that, I have tried to design 4 trigger icons that would represent these names. Again, you've got safe, you've got secure, you've got lock, and you've got trade. But I think the idea of those names makes sense given the nature of the gold bar triggers so far, keeping it along the monetary side of things or transaction side of things. But one thing I want to share as a potential thing is the idea that this could be the first Climax trigger since Wind or Return to actually interact with your opponent's side of the field. Starting off with effects that only affect your side. The first one would be on trigger, pay 1, heal to stock. So the way this works is you're not gaining a hand. You are not gaining a stock because you're basically paying 1 to heal to stock. So you're not gaining a stock as such or any bonus stock. You are basically replacing your stock and getting a heal out of it. Now, there could be a level restriction on this, but given how the game state is right now, I'm not sure it even needs that. I think it'd be fine as a trigger on its own. At the end of the day, you've got heal triggers in Vanguard. Yes, it's only up to 6 damage, so it's sure, obviously much less in Weiss, total 28. But getting a heal trigger might be an opportunity here, and you could even just call it that, a heal trigger. But with how the game state is right now, I don't think this sort of thing would be amiss. Things are very aggressive from level 2 onwards, so being able to heal down a bit could very much help balance the game a tad and try and bring it back into you can play a more defensive deck. But yeah, I think this is a cool idea. Now, another thing I want to mention as well before we carry on is that some of these ideas have come from my Discord server. Make sure you join my Discord server with the link in the description below. Yeah, basically this conversation came up and some of these ideas are from the community, and I will try my best to credit those ideas where I can. So one idea from Doraemon was that on trigger, choose a character in your waiting room without a soul trigger icon and put it to your stock. Kind of like a gold bar in the sense of you are gaining a stock for free, but the advantage is that you get to choose exactly what you put into your stock, but you are limited to the sake it has to be a card without a soul trigger icon. So that's quite a cool little idea. Again, it sticks with the idea of gaining stock, which is what green triggers tend to do. Yeah, I could see this working. It would also make it so that in certain decks you'd maybe not want to run as many soul trigger icons, so it could help balance that, which is a bit rampant at the moment. Looking at you, Alive. But yeah, I think this is a really cool idea potentially as well. This one's from Yuki Kaze, which is on trigger, search your stock for a card and add it to your hand, and then shuffle your stock. This is quite interesting because basically you are not plussing your stock in doing this. You are gaining 1 hand, sure, but you're not gaining a stock, but it does let you search for a card, which means if you have got a Climax in your stock, you can get it out of there with this. So that's quite a cool idea and something we haven't seen yet. Another opportunity similar to this would be on trigger, search for a character. Now, in terms of trigger effects that would actually affect your opponent, Here's the first one, which is one that I thought of myself, is on trigger, put the top card of your opponent's stock into their waiting. That's quite interesting, because one, if that card's a climax, you give them a climax. Great. But if they have got a card in hand, like a counter, and they have got exactly the right amount of stock to use said counter, for example, if they had 5 stock for Mushoku Tensei's rest counter, and you hit this trigger, and you go, oh, that stock you had, I'm going to knock one off of it. They can't use that rest trigger. I kind of like the idea of that in terms of interrupting your opponent, but not in a way that's extremely detrimental. It can cause some massive issues, of course it can, but again, it's a trigger. The chance of it happening is pretty slim. This could be quite a cool way, maybe a little overpowered, but quite a cool way of affecting your opponent's force state. This idea from Lee would be, on trigger, choose a card in your opponent's clock, put its weight room, and if you do, choose one of your opponent's characters and put it to their clock. Kind of like return, but it's locking it to clock. That's where the lock comes in. I kind of like this. Return is a thing that exists, and you're not actually doing any extra damage to your opponent. You are just dealing with a problem card on the field like return would. I think it's actually a really cool idea. And the final idea for a trigger came from Medallia, saying, on trigger, mill the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. Another interesting trigger which, interacts with your opponent's side rather than your side. I think this is quite cool. Again, milling 5 of your opponent's deck is quite powerful, but it's on a climax trigger, and then you get nothing else from that climax trigger. You do not plus from it, you simply deal with something with your opponent's side, and that's all it does. And that sort of effect I could see having the extra soul trigger icon, like Wind has the soul trigger icon where it affects your opponent. Same with Shot, that affects your opponent, has an extra soul trigger icon. Yeah, I think it's totally viable for these triggers, if not most of these triggers, to be what the trigger is, plus a soul trigger icon, especially this last one. But those are my ideas, as well as some of my community members' ideas. What do you think? I didn't share all the community ideas because there were so many of them, but I picked out a few, and these are the ones I've given. But what do you think? Do you think it could be one of the triggers that I've mentioned here, or do you think it could be something different? Let me know in the comments below. But I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a bit different, a bit more discussing the future of the game, and I think it's pretty cool. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new here again, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy what we do here, make sure you hit that like button. And check out all the other socials, Discord, Twitch, and Twitter. All those links in the description below. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!